guys, and welcome back to The Bright Side. Today I am doing my March wrap-up. Okay, so I don't know if you've been watching my other videos, but I moved in March, yay! So I now have a house and big beautiful bookshelves and a room to put them in, and I'm so excited. But because of that, I did not read anywhere close to what I read earlier in the year. I only read / listened to 7 books this month. A couple of them were larger, and I did finish half of another book, so kind of keep that in mind. It's really okay. Like, I do pressure myself a little bit because I enjoy reading so much, and there are just so many books that I want to read, but I try to also keep it, a hobby and fun, and just, what reading's supposed to be, enjoyable and relaxing. That being said, we're gonna dive right into the books that I read. First up, I read Linger by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the Shiver Quartet, I believe. This is about essentially kind of not really werewolves, more like shape-shifting humans, because it doesn't really have anything to do with the moon, and they're not like necessarily insanely violent, and they're not necessarily like this. They just turn into wolves. They don't really turn into like these big scary monsters. Anyway, this is the second book, so I can't say too much about it. I did enjoy this one more than I enjoyed Shiver. I believe I gave this one, I think I might have given it 3.5 still. I'm not sure. I'll have to check my Goodreads. But I enjoyed it a lot more than Shiver, and Maggie Stiefvater knows how to end her books. Like, just when you're thinking like, okay, this is good, but not quite good enough for me to read the next one, the last like 60 pages of this, you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then you're like, I need the next book immediately. So I do like that about her books. I'm not really sure how she's going to wrap up everything, because she always leaves kind of like cliffhangers, but her writing style is very fluid. They're really beautiful books. I'm sure if you like Maggie Stiefvater, then you will enjoy these. Then on audio, I listened to the rest of Winter from the Lunar Chronicles. This is book 4, and then Stars Above from the Lunar Chronicles. Stars Above is a series of novellas like all together. So first we're going to talk about Winter. This was a massive audiobook. I think it was like 18 hours because this book's like 900 pages. Marissa Meyer's books are all narrated by Rebecca Soler, who is absolutely fabulous. She is just so good. I think she's my favorite narrator of all time. That being said, I've never listened to an audiobook that long, and this one got to me just a little bit. But I was in the process of moving, so I was a lot more distracted than I was with the other Lunar Chronicles books, and there's just a lot of information, and I don't know if it was just because I was in the same story for so long or if it was the moving, but I didn't love this one as much as I loved the other ones. That being said, one of my all-time favorite series. I still adored it. I still gave it 4.5 stars. I just think that I liked the other ones a little bit more. I can't really say much about Winter because it will give things away, but you definitely need to check out the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Stars Above, I gave 5 stars because it was just so fun to dive into these little novellas and see things with your favorite characters before or after or during. The little synopsis of things that happened like a little bit after Winter was just lovely. It was so much fun to go back into it, to learn about Carswell was great. The little android story in here that's supposed to be like a retelling of The Little Mermaid, I had to listen to twice because I didn't really understand what it was about, and I wasn't paying attention, and it was beautiful and like heartbreaking and lovely and amazing, and don't skip this one if you love the Lunar Chronicles. Next up, I finished Sun, so I also finished the Giver Quartet this month. This one is a lot heftier than the other books in the Giver trilogy. The Giver is based on a dystopian society, kind of like one of the first dystopian societies, and this one is book 4. It is a companion, but this one also kind of ties things up from all 3 of the other books. I really enjoyed it, but Lois Lowry's writing just leaves just a little bit of something wanting, and I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it kind of keeps me from going over to higher ratings. I think I still gave this one 4 stars. It's just not one that I'm like desperate to finish, but I definitely didn't want to leave it alone completely, if that makes sense. It's really good, and it ties up all of the characters. This one was printed quite a bit after all the other Giver books, so definitely check out Sun by Lois Lowry if you liked the other ones. Then I read The Winter's Crime, part of the Winter's Curse trilogy. This one was absolutely fabulous. I think I gave it 4.5 stars in my head, 4 on Goodreads, by Marie Rutkowski. So good. Again, second one in the series, can't say much, but fantasy, no magic, lots of political intrigue, beautiful, perfectly done romance, not over the top, but still like wonderful in like just the best way possible. It was just so good. It's just, the writing style was so beautiful. I cannot wait to check out her other books. I absolutely loved it. I am done with the third book, but I'm going to save that for my April wrap-up. It was a little bit heftier, so I couldn't finish it in time, unfortunately. But I love this series, so definitely carry on if you're reading anything from The Winter's Crime. And lastly, I listened to Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This is an adult book set in a post-apocalyptic world. Basically, environment's gone bad and we've trashed everything, and there's like a flu epidemic that kills 99.9% of everybody, and things basically go back to how they were before, being dangerous, and people have to walk everywhere, and there's no internet and there's no electricity. In this, there is a traveling theater group and symphony that goes around performing Shakespeare and old songs, I guess, to lift the spirits of everyone, and that's just kind of what their life mission is. They walk around on foot. When I went into this, I thought it was going to purely be about that Shakespearean traveling group, but it is really more a story of characters that all intertwine. You're getting a lot of different perspectives in here. You're getting a lot of different timelines because we go back and forth before the plague, during the plague, and after the plague. And this one was so incredibly beautiful. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the narrator because I was so into Rebecca Soler. I'd listened to like 8 of her audiobooks this year, so I wasn't sure how switching to a new narrator was. I unfortunately can't remember this one's name, but she was so beautiful. I would speed it up to the 1.25. That really just helps with, I don't know, with the flow of everything. But it was absolutely fantastic. It was a story about love. Emily St. John says that this is her love letter to the world, and basically it just makes you appreciate everything, and not because it's just so tragic and sad, but because in the book the characters are remembering things that they loved, or remembering things that maybe they should have done better, or remembering things and seeing things and thinking this might be the last time that I eat an orange, or the last time that I, you know, have a phone call, and just thinking about all of that and realizing how lucky and how awesome we have it. One of the people that blurbed this book said that they just looked up and they were just like, everything is a miracle, and that's totally how you feel. It was so beautiful. It was heartbreaking, but it was also heartwarming at the same time. This is an adult book, but content-wise it was fairly clean. This is our big read I live in Oceanside, California, and this was our big read for the year. Our library picks a book of the year that everyone reads, and they do a lot of themed events around it, so that was kind of neat as well. And I'm so glad. I loved this so much. I would take like extra walks and things just to listen to this audiobook. It was so good that when I started reading The Winter's Kiss, I was narrating The Winter's Kiss in my head by the lady that reads this book, because it was just so fluid and beautiful and just so well done. Even if you don't like post-apocalyptic books, you will like this one because it is very soft. It's not going to be super action oriented or anything like that at all, so don't go into it thinking that. But I was just absolutely fascinated, and I gave it 5 stars. Way to go, Station 11. Okay, you guys, and the last thing that I listened to on audiobook, and I'll put a little picture up here somewhere because I wasn't able to find it at my library, was Renegades by Marissa Meyer. So after Station 11, I jumped into Renegades, and man, oh man, did I listen to that fast. I was not sure with Marissa Meyer's writing style if I was going to enjoy a completely new story outside of the Lunar Chronicles, but oh my gosh, I love it, and I cannot wait for Arch Enemy coming out later this year. I am so glad. It is told by 2 different perspectives. You also get narrations from Dan Bittner, who is also fabulous and super amazing, and it's basically about kind of similar things to Station 11, where in the future and things have kind of gotten run down, and basically certain humans have developed superpowers, and this is kind of shifted society, and things were really dangerous for a while until these certain peoples with powers decided to come in and basically become the new law. So instead of having police officers and things, we have superheroes that are in charge of things, and they're called the renegades. And then this is also told from the perspective of our main character, who does not like the renegades, and it explains that all in the book. And she is from the archivists group, which is technically the bad guys, but it's very gray, black and white. It's not black and white, it's very gray moral standings. You have a hard time deciding whose side you're on in the book. There's a little bit of romance in there. I love superheroes. It was so well done. It was tied beautifully together. The special powers that the superheroes have were super interesting. We have a girl called Honey, and she basically can control like bees and wasps and all those kinds of bugs, and she wears honey for lip gloss, and she's super sweet, and she talks like Marilyn Monroe, and oh, it was amazing! 5-star book. Way to go, Marissa Meyer, you did it again. Okay, you guys, that was everything that I read and listened to in the month of March, excuse me, and I loved most of what I listened to and read, which was really great because I did not have so great of a February. But I'm really, really excited to do way more videos in the future, and I will see you guys next time on the bright side. Bye!